The good, the bad, and the odd will swallow your soul.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so this is a free choice, your choice. Do you want to tell everyone what you picked?
So, I've been kind of watching Firefly. Just started that up again, so I decided, let's watch Serenity.
Serenity. I can't believe we've never covered it. I thought we had,
Yeah.
Have we done Firefly? I don't think we've even done Firefly,
No.
but we should really do Firefly. Anyway, yeah, but you're doing it anyway. Serenity, yeah. Great, yeah. Well, we'll get into that. Let's do Comfy Chair first. So I've got a couple and you've got a couple. Shall I start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay, my first one's an odd one and a bit verging on bad, really. There was not much good about it, really, other than it was quite entertaining, frankly.
Yeah.
And it's called... Now, I'm working through some Hammer stuff that I've not seen, and it's not their standard gothic horror. It's more their psychological thrillers kind of stuff. And there's some good ones. There are some good ones, but this one wasn't one of those. It's called Shadow of the Cat, made in 1961, but it's got a great cut. The weird thing is it's got a really solid cast. But the premise is ridiculous. Essentially... there's murder in this old house, and the family are kind of implicit because they're going to benefit from the will. But then there's a young cousin, a lady who is not privy to what the plot, but is going to be the inheritor of the next. It's all that, right? So she's under threat. Now the cast is Andre Morel, who's he was Watson in. Do you remember the Hammer Hound of the Baskervilles with Peter Cushing? Andre Morel was Watson. Barbara Shelley, who's a famous Hammer actress, and Frida Jackson, who was the marvelous woman in Brides of Dracula. I don't know if you remember. Yeah. Anyway, good cast. But the premise is ridiculous. The premise is the cat has seen the murder, and then everyone in the house seems to act like, oh, well, we've got to catch the cat. It's a witness. They keep going on about a cat being a witness to a murder, right? It's mental and treating it dead seriously. And whenever the cat's in the room, there's one point where the cat's just in the cellar or something, and this guy sees it, runs in with a poker and starts just smashing the place up. The cat runs out the window. He continues smashing the place up, right? Like he's gone mad. The thing is, they filmed the cat like an ordinary house cat. It's not filmed in a sinister way, or if it's like watching them, it's just they film a cat, right? And then insert it into this high drama. So it isn't very good, honestly. I mean, the acting's all right, but the actual script and story are pretty bad. The cat's called Tabitha. Okay. And basically they all get undone by this obsession with trying to catch this cat, and everyone in the village kind of knows they're kind of going mad about looking for this cat. So, which means everyone's sort of suspicious. Why are they so bothered by the cat? It's all that. It's nonsense. And then finally it all resolves, and then I like kind of like the ending. In the end, the house is sold off, and the new family rocks up, and I think it's kind of set Victorian or Edwardian, right? So, earlier era, and we see, a new family turn up: husband, wife, daughter, grandfather move in, and the grandfather complains he'll probably die of boredom, and meanwhile the husband and wife saying maybe we need to get him to change his will, as the cat looks on. So this suggesting more shenanigans the cat's going to witness. Yeah. It was black and white, pretty awful. Though apparently some reviews liked it. I thought it was basically Home Alone, but instead of Kevin, it was a cat. But the cat wasn't intentionally setting traps; it was just wandering around, and they'd create their own traps, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Shadow of the Cat, not a big recommend. Back to you.
Okay, so I've been playing a new game, Elden Ring Night Rain, which is the newest From Software game. It's a best description for it is a roguelike. It's a roguelike like hack and slash, really. but the premise is mostly taken from battle royales. What it is every sort of round you load into a set map, and there's a storm that closes in. But the idea is it's not player versus player; it's player versus the environment, the player versus enemies. So you work cooperatively with two other people to try and kill as many enemies as you can to get the best loot. So they're on the last, when the night clears, because the ring slowly closes in and then clears from the map, and then does it once more, and then you go to a final boss. You got to power yourself up enough to get that final boss beat. Now I played a few dozen rounds, and I've only beat the final boss 3 times. So
okay, it's pretty tough then. It's pretty tough.
This is the Dark Souls guys that make this.
Now, okay. So, right, okay. So, I'm assuming it looks really good.
Yes, it's a very pretty game.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
It's,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so sounds good. So player versus environment then, but you're cooperating with real people also around with you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
and instead of being sort of like the custom characters that the other sort of Souls games do, there's set loadouts not loadouts, set like player kits. So like one character has an ability that basically makes everyone invisible. You can run away from an enemy if you need to be, or position yourself better for a big attack. There's one who's got a big sort of air dive that can revive people if they land on them. So yeah, it's quite diverse. It's really fun.
Well, you're playing it on a PC.
I'm playing it on PC because unfortunately it doesn't have crossplay. So all my friends everyone had to buy it on PC. So,
yeah. So you can't.
But
that's
the one downside.
It's available on everything otherwise, right?
Yeah, PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, and X. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, my next one is I rewatched The Force Awakens. I was just in the mood. It's a great, fun film. It's a fun Star Wars film. I don't have the problem that some people have with Last Jedi, and I see the distinct flaws in Rise of Skywalker, but I still kind of enjoy it. But Force Awakens is the best of the 3 in terms of simple, pure fun, and getting on with business. I quite like it. It's enjoyable. Daisy Ridley's really good. I think the whole cast are very solid. Actually, I do like the art they're setting up with Kylo Ren as well. There's quite a lot going on. There's some great lines in it. You're a dead man, Solo. I love they brought someone Scottish in to threaten Han Solo. That moment, and it works. Right?
Yeah.
Not much to say other than Star Wars, right? Some cool stuff. I mean, there are some shenanigans in 2 and 3 after this, but and I've decided I'm going to go watch the prequels. I feel like watching the prequels again. I fancy Phantom Menace. I like Phantom Menace more than a lot of people. I think. I realise it's weak, but I find the whole. Qui-Gon's great, Darth Maul's great, Obi-Wan's great, the pod race is great, and then there's the rest of it. Right? But I quite enjoy it. Otherwise, there's the slightly racisty voice.
Yeah, well, there's not slightly, really.
Okay, but that's a thing with Star Wars, right? Yeah. Okay, but I will be going back to the prequels, I think. So I might talk about all 3 next time. But I'll see. If I do, I'll talk about them as a block, I think. But Force Awakens, good fun, nice return. J.J. Abrams, wasn't it? Did he do it? He did a solid job with that one. And like I say, I quite like The Last Jedi. I know a lot of people don't. And Star Wars people, some get really angry about it, don't they? But I'm all right with it. But yeah, Force Awakens, pretty much everyone's all right with, I think.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Other than it's clearly just a remake of Star Wars. That's the other
Yeah.
but BB-8's great as well. BB-8, that new character, BB-8, really new robot, new droid. Yeah, really enjoyed Force Awakens. It's kind of a 9 out of 10 for me, really, that film. Back to you.
Okay, so my next one is, as I somewhat mentioned previously, I started watching rewatching Firefly. That's what prompted this. Unfortunately, though, I got about 3 episodes in, and then Elden Ring released,
Right,
so I
okay.
kind of stopped. So, but yeah, I got 3 episodes in. Really fun show.
Yeah, it is a fun show. Yeah. Well, I can't remember what stories come early, but every episode's pretty solid, right?
Yeah. So the first one, it's just called Serenity as well. This is the one where everyone gets introduced. There's a brief run-in with the Reavers and the Alliance. The second one's the train job, where they steal all the medicine.
That's a good one, yeah.
And then the third one is where they find a ship that was attacked by Reavers, and they find like a last survivor. But then they're caught by the Alliance, so it kind of becomes Alien with the Reaver survivor slowly turning into a Reaver.
Yeah.
And everyone trying to hunt him down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great series. I mean, there's only 14, right? There's only 14.
Yeah, 14 episodes.
And they just really well developed characters. You like all of the only one of the crew I never really latched in onto is Simon, really. The rest, he feels a bit distant from the rest.
I suppose that's deliberate. Like he's written to be very, very standoffish with pretty much everyone except Kaylee and his sister.
It's important because he looks after his sister. That is really, he's a really important character. So that's useful, and also the interaction with Kaylee are gold, really.
Yeah,
Kaylee's stuff. Kaylee's a great character, so yeah, it kind of helps a lot. I really like this universe. We'll be talking about it more, won't we, when we get to Serenity?
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to getting back to that, I guess.
Yeah.
What's
it's on Disney Plus.
Disney
so
Plus,
you can watch
excellent.
it there. Which is why when we were talking about this, I was like, oh yeah, well, I can just watch it on Disney Plus. Nope.
Yeah. No,
Serenity was not on Disney Plus, weirdly.
It is weird. I find it quite disconcerting because I watch shows on I watch a show and then I find a related show is not on a completely different platform. I forgot. Like I recently watched for the first time a really fantastic show called 1883. Right, and it's like it was really good, and it's a prequel to a show called Yellowstone. This is meant to be a good show. And I think Yellowstone's on Disney Plus. I'm not entirely sure, but for 1883 is on Netflix. Maybe Yellowstone.
Oh, that's weird.
But there's another prequel series that's set after 83 called 1923. But that wasn't on Netflix. That's on Paramount Plus. So it's like
what?
Why?
So
Why are you doing this?
You need to watch. Three different wow.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure which one's Yellowstone's on actually. But I did mean to talk about 1883. Completely forgot. But it was a fantastic show about American pioneers. But yeah, that was a great one. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's time to get to Serenity. Shall we do it the scenes in the story are kind of interrelated, so we'll do what we have done in the past, which is just go through the story and talk about the scenes as we go. Should we do that? That's probably the best for this.
Yeah.
So this one's made in 2005. Confusingly, there's a new film out, or more recent film out from 2019 called Serenity that is nothing to do with this. So when you Google Serenity, you often get the not 2019 version, right? So basically, space western steampunky kind of world, right?
Yeah.
Or universe. So a lot of pioneers on planets with driving cattle, and that's the kind of universe we're talking about. However, Serenity is meant to be a sequel it is a sequel to the series Firefly, and basically explains a lot of this universe. However, it's in my opinion, this is constructed in a way you don't have to have seen Firefly at all, and you'd still totally understand and be oriented on this film. It's built really solidly. It's a much richer experience if you know Serenity, Firefly, and the crew. But you could see this and be completely oriented. Unusual, isn't it? Because there's not many films that are sequels to an ongoing story from TV. It's really, I mean, there's lots of films based on TV shows, right? Or film, but then that's not what this is. This is a continuation of the story. The only other one I can think of is Rotha Khan. Really?
Yeah.
That's about it, really. So yeah, interesting. And well, first let's talk about the opening sequence. Essentially, this orientates you to the universe, explains somewhat why the Alliance, the bad guys, the Empire, as it were, the Alliance, are after this girl River, in a way that was not in the TV series. So that's a good thing. That's a good reveal for the fans who see this for the first time, right? And also orientates what her powers are. She's psychic, and she's kind of been trained to be a fighter, and all this, that, and the other. And why
they're kind of vague about it in the show. It's just like, oh, she's special, and she does a lot of spooky things, but it's never quite clear. But in this, they just flat out saying, like, one of the first scenes, like, oh, she's a seer. And she's psychic, so So
I'd say but this is going to be full of spoilers. So turn off if you don't want to.
Well, this is a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah, 20 years old. Can't believe it's 20 years old. Essentially, she has knowledge in her head that could undermine the Alliance.
Yeah,
right.
Because the guy heading the project was kind of arrogant enough that he brought in several bigwig politicians
into a room with a
psychic, just kind of scanned their brain. So
So, and the main nemesis in this is a great character from the show called the Operative, who is
he's not in the show. Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought he was in one episode of the show. Is there a character just like him?
There's similar, like, government agents that are after.
I thought there was one where this guy was stuck in the shit with them. My mistake. I haven't seen the show in a long time. I've confused him with another very similar character, an assassin-y kind of character. Right?
Yeah, I remember there is a guy. I can't remember his name, but there is a guy that basically takes over the ship for a while. So
yeah, that's him, and it's a funny episode because Jane's in it, but the only scene we see of him is waking up, like, as he heard something weird, and then grabbing his gun and hugging it and just going back to sleep, and that's all we see of Jane the whole episode, right? It's very funny. So that's the thing. Now the crew is Mal, who's played by Nathan Fillion. He's basically is often referred to as like Han Solo character. His first mate is Zoe Washburn, and they've got a background together because they fought in the war together. There's been a civil war, an independence war, which they were on the losing side of. The Alliance won. Zoe's married to the pilot who's got the nickname Wash, brilliantly played by Alan Tiddick. In fact, the whole cast is good. There's no point saying they're all each one's brilliant. They all are. And they've also got another fighter, Jane Cobb. So we got Wash, we got Jane, and we got a mechanic, Kaylee, who's really adept at fixing mechanical stuff. But they've also got on board, and on the series they have on board a sort of a courtesan for hire called Irina. Inara. So her and Malk have a thing, but it's a lot. It's a 30s screwball comedy kind of relationship. It's one of those.
Well, they're constantly insulting each other up until the point they're both the only people in the room. and then
Yes.
it gets fairly heavy. And
Yeah,
flirty.
you can
So,
tell they want to kiss each other.
yeah,
There's also Simon, who we mentioned, who's the brother
yeah,
of River, who's this girl that's clearly troubled. You know, she doesn't she has trouble communicating and stuff like this.
yeah.
But she's really lethal, played by Summer Glau. And Kaylee's quite taken with Simon, and he kind of likes her too, but you know, he's more focused on his sister, looking after his sister who's clearly troubled. And he's a doctor too. There was
Yeah.
one other person in the crew that's only in this film partly. He is in it
Yeah.
though, which is the
Shepherd book. Yeah,
the shepherd, right? The
yeah.
shepherd.
Played by
Who's
Ron Glass. So,
yeah, he's a terrific character again.
Yeah.
Religious man, but clearly previously a fighting man.
yeah. I reckon that Joss Whedon had watched a lot of Deep Space Nine before this and liked Garrick. So
Yeah.
that's my
I can see it,
supposition,
I can
because
see that.
it's the same sort of thing. Because Book, every single time there's a fight, Book always is like, the Lord's word is very clear on killing, but the kneecaps, it's kind of a grey area, and he precision shots all the kneecaps in the room. It's like, okay, and he just knows a lot of things that he really shouldn't for his position. So
Yeah. Now, one thing about this universe is there is areas controlled by what are called the Reavers, who are maddened, insane people that still seem to have the power of space flight and can coordinate enough to do that. But they're basically angry and insane. They they strip off their own skin or parts of their own skin. They're tattooed. They paint ships.
Because I've just watched the series, Zoe's introduction of them is like probably one of the most just like, we're not playing with these guys. This is just a terrible thing that we do not want to encounter at all.
Yes.
Where she just goes like, so what they'll do is they'll rape us to death. They will eat our flesh and then sew our skin into their clothes. And if we're really, really lucky, they'll do it in that order.
Yes, it's mental. There's no aliens in this universe. It is just a human universe. But the scary unknown is the Reavers. The bad guys are the Alliance. The scary unknown are the Reavers. And then there's like Settlers and Pioneers, and the crew are like a jobbing. You know, they'll smuggle, or they'll transport, or they'll even do, robberies just to keep surviving and keep the ship going, right? That's kind of the premise. Anyway, that comes back to this. There is a terrific opening sequence where we learn all of this, right? They set it up so well so it doesn't feel like exposition dump. And it's done by stories within stories. We see, essentially, a teacher teaching a young River about stuff.
Yeah, then it flashes forward to River in the like government facility where she was functionally tortured.
Yeah, she's been tortured, and she was the one remembering herself as a little girl, right?
Yeah,
and then we see essentially Simon is pretending to be an Alliance elite, and he kind of rescues her. And then we see the rescue, and there's a really cool shot of them going upwards on a platform, like an elevator, but it's just a platform. And then that freezes, and we zoom out again, and we're in another scene where they're actually reviewing footage via a hologram of what happens. And this is talking about the escape from the facility. So, and that's when the operative comes in and basically says, "Yeah, you made a mistake. You shouldn't have put a psychic in a room with government officials who know all the secrets of the Alliance." And he kills the doctor. But he does it in a very stylized way, right? He basically does a nerve damage thing on him, doesn't he? So he can't move. And then he places a sword on the floor and kneels down. So the sword's... Basically, the man falls on the sword. And he says, it's a good death. You have done well for the Alliance. It's good. This is nothing to be ashamed of, and all this.
Yeah, he does like in ancient, more savage cultures, men of dishonor would throw themselves on their swords. I don't have a sword. You just hear the shing before he's like even finish saying I don't have a sword.
Sword.
So.
Yeah, he pulls out a sword. Yes. So there is that. So we see this entire rescue, and we know the operative is after her, right? Meanwhile, the crew, they're running out of money. They're always running out of money.
Yeah,
So
they're always.
So essentially, what they decide to do is rob the payroll of a private security company that are protecting a planet, right? And they're thinking, saying, "Well, we could take this money," and it's like, "Well, why don't the Alliance be after us then?" He goes, "No private company would." Would admit that their payroll was stolen, they'd immediately lose their contract, right? So that's the rationale. So we get a kind of Mad Maxi sequence, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That we have a bank robber, and there's some cool lines. Jay gets explained what's going to happen. He goes, "Okay, let's be bad guys."
Yeah.
And Simon doesn't want them, but they want to bring River because her psychic abilities will allow her to work out like the bank vault stuff, which works out, right? But meanwhile, during the robbery, she suddenly warns them the Reavers are on their way, and it's like, Reavers, we got to go. And they try and get away, and one guy tries to call them and goes, "Please take me with you." And it doesn't matter, just shoot him. Just shoot him.
Mal pushes him off and tells him
pushes
to
him
run.
off.
But then the Reavers grab him, so out of pity, now just shoots him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they managed to get away, but they're being trapped by Reavers, so there's all of that going on. Wash has got to position the ship so they can get there. They have to converge at a certain point. Quite an exciting chase sequence. You can see the CGI. It's good enough to be okay, but you can really see it's CGI.
Also, I think they were reusing the weird little ship that chases them. I think that's a reused model from the first episode.
Oh, is it?
In the first episode, there's a Reaver ship that kind of they end up in the same area as it, so they just turn off all their engines and just float past.
Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't notice them. But it looks like that. So
I should have mentioned actually. I didn't mention it. Right, Firefly is the name of the type of ship that they fly, but they call their Firefly Serenity. Right, that's why it's called Serenity. So they managed to get away, but then Simon really kicks off and goes, "You put her in danger. You said you'd bring her back safe," and it's like, I did bring her back safe. Anyway, he lays down the law and says he wants to leave, and Malk's all right with that, and and everyone, and Kaylee's really not happy.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Jay keeps encouraging her because he wants to hear her talk about how she wants to have sex with Simon.
He goes, "I could hear some more of this," and she's sort of saying things like, people sometimes say things they don't mean. Normal people. She said to Malk. So they then have to go meet the fence to sort of pass the stuff on. And it's played by these twins who say their usual fee is 25%, but they say, "No, it's 40% now. You're too dangerous." And this is troubling. They have to put their guns into lockers when they go into a bar, so no one's got firearms. But then River starts watching the TV thing with a weird little Japanese art deco kind of stuff.
It's a weird little dancing anime character.
Dancing children, but then also a weird octopus thing.
Yeah.
And it triggers something in her, doesn't it? And she just starts a massive bar fight, right? She takes a massive bar fight. Meanwhile, they realise she's kicked off and she's just taking out all these people, with this it's a really well choreographed action scene, isn't it? She's deadly. Mal realises he has to try and help, so he goes and tries to get his gun out it takes the whole sequence to get his gun out of the locker because he can't find his pass. But when he's finished, she's already done. She's taken everyone out. So it's like, okay, we got to leave. Which annoys Mal even more, They don't know what to do, so they contact Mr. Universe, a hacker who kind of who's hacked into all sorts of feeds and stuff, and keeps an eye on the universe basically. And it's called Mr. Universe, who's got a robot sex partner
thing.
Yeah, she just lays in bed and waits.
His wife. They show the
he married her.
He did marry her.
Yeah.
So,
and he's saying things like, "Well, Mal, I always like working with you guys. You always have the best violence." He says as he's watching the feed, and they're saying, and Mal's like, "How many people know about it?" He says, "No one. I had to tap into the direct feeds of the bar to see this. However, someone's been here before me. Someone else has observed this." And then they review the footage and they work out that just before she triggered and started the fight, she said the word Miranda. So they know this. Then Mal gets an invitation from Inara, right? But she's talking in a weird way. It's clearly a trap. While he's talking to her, the rest of the crew are eavesdropping, basically. They're watching it. And they're just going, whenever he just can't say what he really means. They're like throwing popcorn at the screen. And it's funny.
I like it's like later on where he just walks back in. It's like, so you're all listening to that. That's a trap. Both like Wash and Zoe are like, yeah, that's definitely a trap. Jane's mostly just kind of laughing at him. But then Kaylee does the usual, like, oh, but it could be like she could actually be reaching out for you. He just goes, did we argue? No. Then it's a trap.
Yes, I mean, exactly, because they always argue, always. So everyone knows it's a trap, right? Yeah. But he goes anyway, and this is where the first time he encounters the operative, who basically says, I just want River. Give me River and you can go on your way, kind of thing. But he somehow manages to get away. I can't remember how. Was it a flash bomb? Flashbang, wasn't it? Using a flashbang.
Yeah, so she put some incense up at the start of the scene. And like the Mal and the agent have a bit of a scuffle. Then Nora just sort of like drapes herself over Mal and goes, that wasn't incense, and it pops. And like they're able to get out. So. Yeah,
which just all right, but the operative, and then the operative soldiers come and he goes, chase them. Anyway, they manage to all get away, and then they start just arguing again all the time. But River goes off and starts using a computer console, and a mouse is. Can you tell me what? But well. You got to remember, River doesn't interact with other people, really, does she? She just mutters words. Simon, she pays attention to Simon, but she doesn't communicate, in sentences. Let's put it that way. But then she's looking at a computer screen and she points to a planet and she says Miranda. So we find out Miranda is a planet, and it's in a space after a big dark area that's controlled by the Reavers. So essentially they have to go through the Alliance space, or in their normal space, go through Reaver space to get to this planet. They go to a planet and meet up with their old friend, Shepard.
After
all this.
After the incident on the companion convent, they have to lie low for a little. And then they try and find. What was it? I can't remember the actual order of what happens here because
I've got that wrong. They go see Shepard earlier, don't they? It's just I think it's after the. It's after the.
Yeah, so they go Shepard for a second time, and the whole like camp that he set up has been wiped out.
Yeah, and they say, well, it isn't Reavers. It's not Reavers. Yeah. We know it isn't Reavers.
It's like there's a crashed Alliance ship because Books was able to shoot it out of the air with a piece of artillery. And then they immediately go, check everywhere that we have ever laid low. And they've all been devastated.
Yeah, so they've got nowhere to run. And I think, doesn't the operative communicate again and say, look, we know where you're trying to hide. Basically he says when an animal goes to ground, you destroy the ground. right? Is
Yeah.
what he said, something like that. Shepherd Bush is on his, is dying, and he dies in Mal's arms.
Yeah.
And doesn't one bloke crawl out the Alliance ship?
Yeah, Mal shoots him behind his
Mal
back.
just shoots him.
Yeah.
So Mal says, "Okay, we're going to strap all these bodies to the front of the what's it? I need red paint." Basically, they're disguising the ship, and they start arguing with him. He goes, "Look, anyone, if you don't want to ride with me, you stay here. This is your port, right?
Yeah.
If you ain't leaving port and you ain't joining me and you get in my way, I'm going to shoot you dead." It's that simple, right?
Yeah.
He's determined. He goes, "We're going to go there. We might find some way out of there if we get to this planet." That's his reasoning. So essentially, they drape the dead bodies over the ship, paint it to make it look like a Reaver ship, and all this
attach
stuff.
a bunch of scrap. They make the engines run worse just so that it looks like how Reavers run theirs.
Yeah. So basically, they kind of float towards Miranda through the Reavers. So they go through all of the Reavers.
Yeah. There's a few tense bits where when
it gets kind of scanned or a light's flashing against the ship and stuff like that. Don't they also strap like a gun turret on the top?
Yeah, they strap the artillery piece that the Shepherd had to the top of the ship, so that's they have the weapon. So.
And it looks more dangerous to the Reavers, so it probably fits in better. They get to the ship. They get to the planet. Now, apparently, all of this was meant to be across like 3 seasons or something. That was the original plan, or a few seasons of TV. So I have to say, it contracted wonderfully into this film. It really worked. As a plot, the whole thing. So, I would have preferred to see 4 seasons of Firefly, but we got this at least.
But there's in the comics. So.
But yes, we do. And it's a very satisfying film. It has to be said. So they get to Miranda and they find all these people kind of lying dead or desiccated.
Yeah,
but they're almost like they just died where they were sitting. They didn't. And they didn't die suddenly. They just kind of
they sat down.
Yeah, it's really weird. And basically, they find there's an experimental chemical to suppress aggression. Has been added to the entire planet's atmosphere. 30 million people there. Most of them died because they just stopped. The lack of aggression gave them no motivation to do anything, so they all just let them. However, a small percentage had a significant adverse reaction, and they all became Reavers. So this is where the Reavers have come from. This planet.
And this is very clear. The Alliance made the Reavers.
Reavers by mistake.
They caused that. So
they killed 30 million people in an experiment that went badly wrong, and it's hidden, right? So this information should significantly weaken the Alliance. So they've got this. Now the operative kind of doesn't know not interested in the secrets. He does find out, but he doesn't really care until close to the end. He just knows he has to stop. He believes in the Alliance.
He's like got his whole thing was like, I'm trying to make a world seeing. And even when Mal's like, "Oh yeah, and what are you going to do in that world with that city?" He's like, "I won't be there. That's not my place."
So this was the secret that they were hunting River about, right? Knowing about this planet, right? So what happens then? The Reavers attack the planet, don't they? Oh no! Hold on.
So they find like the last broadcast, which is basically Owen admitting all of it and saying like, "Oh God, what's like they're coming for me," and like a Reaver grabs her in the last second.
Yeah, it's grim.
And they're like, everyone needs to know this. So they leave, and it's like, well, Mr. Universe is the only one that would be able to get this out to everyone. But the operative knows that.
Yeah, they communicate with Mr. Universe, don't they? Who says, bring it here. But when the broadcast ends, we see they're already at Mr. Universe's, don't they?
The Alliance is just there.
So. Yeah. and the operative kills Mr. Universe, but
Hmm.
leaves his robot wife alone.
Yeah.
So they're kind of waiting for an ambush.
Yeah.
Does Mal know this at this point, or they
Yeah,
don't?
they're like, yeah, well, between us, there's a Reaver army, and then there's the Alliance between us and Mr. Universe. Because it turns out the Miranda not very far from everywhere.
Yeah, but no one goes there because the Reavers.
No one goes there because the Reavers there. But
yeah.
So they sort of slowly drift back through the Reavers, and what they do is when one sort of turns to scan them, they just immediately swivel the cannon and shoot it, and then to take off. And that prompts every single Reaver ship to just take off after them.
Yeah,
and then we
which
get
is a deliberate. There's it has to be said. There's some sort of nebula. There's some sort of interference, iron cloud between the Reavers and the Alliance army led by the operatives or fleet, I should say.
Yeah, so they have the fleet sort of hanging in orbit around Mr. Universe's planet.
Yeah, so basically, Serenity comes bursting through this iron cloud, and like the operative's like, he's not even trying to avoid us. Goes out, aim. And then suddenly the entire Reaver army comes out of the cloud, and the operative loses his cool at that point. Doesn't he?
Everyone's like, start shooting. Shoot the Reavers. Somebody shoot something.
So there's a massive fight between the Reaver army and the Alliance, and Serenity is trying to make its way through this and avoid the fight. However, there's one Reaver ship.
It's succeeding. It's a leaf on the wind.
A leaf on the wind. Wash keeps saying, "I'm a leaf on the wind," and Mal's like, "What does that?
What are you talking about?"
Anyway, they're heading towards the planet with Mr. Universe, but there's one Reaver ship that's just not giving up and keeps chasing them. And they lose an engine, so they have to glide. Wash is like, I'm going to have to glide in. And he goes, can you even do that? And he's like, I'm a leaf on the wind. And he does actually, he kind of almost destroys, he loses all the landing gear Serenity by crash landing. And sliding into a port. But they manage to make it. However, these massive spears then come through the front of the ship and impale Wash. Wash is killed, which is a real shame. Wash is a great character. However, it's kind of signaling this is the end for this crew. Kind of that's kind of what's thinking about that, isn't it? Zoe is married to Wash, so she's really cut up.
Yes,
and they realise they're in the compound, but they managed to shut some of the doors. Or partially shut some of the doors. They said, we'll make a last
through like the team's combination of skills. So like Kaylee shutting the doors, Jane and Zoe are like setting up barricades and fallback positions. Simon's making sure everyone can still up. Inara's even got like her own bow gun thing that she whips out for this. So
I misremembered this. I remembered Zoe kind of going mental and sacrificing her. It doesn't quite work out that way.
Well, she goes like full stoic for the entire thing. So she's just shrugging off shots and attacks. So
they realise there's some blast doors they can hide behind, but they don't properly close. Simon's shot and basically keeps saying he's got. Zoe also gets quite badly wounded, doesn't she? Fighting Reavers.
Yeah, they're all basically down for the count.
Yeah, Simon's like, I need my bag. I need my bag. She needs adrenaline. I need so and so. But I need my bag. And River says, you always looked after me. Now it's my turn. And she dives through the little hole that's left by the door's not shut.
Yeah, throws
into a full pack of
and,
reasons. Throws the bag through and shuts the doors on the other side. Yeah. So, it looks like she's dead. But we see her starting to fight all these Reavers. Like, a mad fight. Man, I mean, there's dozens of them, right? There's dozens of them. With swords and stuff. And then, however,
spears are still coming through the wall. So
so Mal manages to get to the Mr. Universe room, but realizes he's dead. And in fact, the robot bride says something like, "Mal, he shot me.
Yeah, he stabbed me. Stabbed me with a sword, Mal. Can you believe it?" And it's like go to my backup broadcasting station. And But then the operative walks in, and the robot says the exact same thing to him.
Yeah.
So
Mal's making his way there. The operative's close behind, but it's in the middle of an area you can't just walk to. You have to kind of swing across chains and all this. So basically, there's a big fight between Mal and the operative. And Mal's getting the tar beat out of him, really. And finally, he does like a special punch, which is like a nerve free, nerve pinch thing.
He hits him with the nerve hit that he got the guy at the start.
Yeah, one. So Mal's just standing there, and he does the sword thing. He puts it in place. This is a good way to die. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And Mal
just clocks him.
Yeah, clocks him in the throat, so he can't even talk.
Yeah.
He goes, sorry, man, you can't do your little speech. I took nerve damage there, so-and-so, so the cluster was moved. That's a reasonably neat bit of explanation.
Yeah.
Which means he can then broadcast the thing, right? He broadcasts it while the operative hears it. Right?
Oh, yeah, he breaks both the operative's arms first.
Yeah. And uses his own sword to attach him to a railing, so he just sits up and has to listen and can't move, right?
Yeah.
So he forces him to hear, and then Mal goes back. Then they open the blast doors where River was, just to see what happened. And River's standing alone with two dripping swords on her, basically. But then all the Alliance burst in, and so they got everyone at gunpoint. It looks like everyone's about to die, right? But suddenly the operative's like, stand down, it's over. We can hear the operative speak. So he even allows them to repair the ship. He helps repair he gives them the reasons to repair Serenity. We see Arena painting the Serenity sign back on there. Inara. I always say it wrong. And the operative's kind of back to health, and he's basically saying, I'll try and convince them they're no longer threats. Basically, he's giving them an out. He's saying,
it's like any damage she could do has already been done.
But they may continue, and then the Serenity takes off. But this time, River's part. River doesn't know hasn't got anything. But Mal saying, "You got to alert," and basically she takes off the ship perfectly, and so she's really adept. It also appears the reveal of this secret may have broken her psychosis somewhat.
Yeah.
So it may be, but it's not that clear. If
we only see like a few minutes of her after it, and she's lucid the entire time.
She's lucid.
But she has lucid episodes.
She does.
The original series, so she can be fine for most of an episode.
So in fact, the only crew we lose is Wash in this.
Yeah.
Well,
she also bites it, and they do have like a funeral ceremony for all the characters.
Oh yeah, they do. And we don't. Shepard also has passed as well. Yeah. I thought the Doctor had died until I saw him kissing Kaylee. It made me laugh because at one point he says to Kaylee, "I wish you and I could have been together." And Kaylee's like, "You mean sex?" And he goes, "Yes, I mean sex." And she's like, "Hell, I want to live." She's like, and we see them kissing at the end, and like on the floor, and then the camera pans up, and we see River's face in the ceiling.
It slowly like lowers out of a gap in the panel,
and she does it. I mean, that's not as creepy as it sounds. She does that a lot in the series. She's always watching stuff, right? So that's her thing. She's trying to understand and learn about reality. Is how it feels. It's weird because they cancelled the original series 11 episodes in. So another networks tried to get it off of Fox, and they wouldn't pass it on. But Joss Whedon had enough creative control; he could get a film together out of it.
I imagine it's some sort of licensing thing, like having TV rights technically doesn't apply for film rights. So, I have to say this is a brilliant cap of the original series. I think it's such a well put together film. You don't feel I don't understand what's going on at any point, though they pack loads in. Now it might be because we're more familiar with the series, we kind of accept some of the stuff, and it might be a new viewer might
be like, what are Reavers? What's going on? Yeah, I don't know, but it feels like to me a coherent film. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really well put together, and you don't, as you said earlier, you don't need to watch any Firefly to really get it. But a lot of it's like it adds heft to everything that happens. So.
They did make it a bit shinier, and I use that term because they use the shiny to mean good, don't they? They use
shiny. There's a lot of like in-universe slang. A lot of swears have been changed. So
there's a lot of Chinese in some of
it's just untranslated Chinese. So
untranslated Chinese, often insults, right? Often insults.
Yeah.
But I mean, the steampunk aesthetic of the original series really came through. They're cool guns, and
they're all using like revolvers and Winchesters and that sort of look.
It is funny that the whole series is about normal guns, right? Apart from there's one episode where a guy keeps going on about a laser. He's got a laser, and it's like it's on a little. It's in a display case because it's such a unusual thing. I kind of feel like that's just poking fun at things like Star Wars, right? And their laser guns. In this it's all proper old school bullets and stuff like that. I really liked the guy playing the operative, and I'm going to try and say his name, but I might murder this. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think. Really good. He's excellent in this.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah.
Yes. He's a really British actor.
Yeah.
Shame I haven't seen him in much else. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, the only thing I know you've seen him in is he's the villain. He's Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange.
Okay, he's really good in that too, right?
Yeah.
He also apparently was the voice of Scar in the Lion King remake in 2019. How about that? Okay. Yeah, he's got a good voice. I could see that.
Yeah.
So Londoner, Nigeria, born of Nigerian parents. But he's really effective and good in this role. I really enjoyed him. I thought he was good. Great film. Final thoughts?
Yeah, go watch it. However you can watch it. I do recommend it.
It was a pleasure to rewatch. It's got very little. It's no bagginess, is there? And the action's really exciting. The characters are really good. There's some laughs all the way through. There's one point where Mal's talking to the operative of Arena, and he's talking to him, and the operative says, "You can't annoy me." And Arena goes, Spend an hour with him. Yes. I have to also mention Firefly was the series where I've forgotten her name. Saffron. In Firefly.
Yeah, Christina Hendricks.
Where she became kind of a thing because she was so good in Firefly. She, people said, "Who's that?" Right? So she was excellent in Firefly as well as like an ongoing nemesis stroke. Helper. She was one of those kind of ambiguous characters, wasn't she? Yeah. It
is kind of awkward now rewatching some of this with knowledge of what Joss Whedon was like during the making of these.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that. Yeah, he creates a toxic environment on set apparently. So there is that. He's very shouty, I guess. I don't really know. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought he was just created. Oh dear, that's not good. Okay, but I mean, if you're going to watch this, Firefly is also a massive recommend. The series. Well, how would you rate this film?
I'd rate this a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. It's nearly a 10, really. It really is. It's just so damn entertaining. Okay, let's wind it up there. So, bye from me.
Bye.